welcome back to the channel. This is Andrew with Infected Outdoors. Today we're going to be reviewing the Pulsar Thermion XP50 LRF Pro. It's the Thermion 2 version. So we've had a chance to kind of demo the different Thermions as they've come about, and I'm pretty excited to say that this Thermion is definitely the best one out there. We've been using the Thermion 2 for a while now, the last several months. Just recently got our hands on the Thermion 2 Pro. So it's got a little bit better battery life, so that's what really the Pro is signifying, is the better battery life on the units. And then this last week I ended up getting the LRF on my hands, got it out on a hunt last week, and it is pretty sweet. So just to kind of run you through, so this is the XP50 version. Base magnification is 2 to 16, so really get a nice wide field of view. It's going to be similar to the Trail 2 XP50s. All that XP50 is going to be about in that same magnification, which is really nice when you're pig hunting. You get a real nice wide field of view. Really can see things coming across quite easily when you're making run-in shots. It's a 640 by 480 unit, 17 micron. So really get that nice, clear, crisp image. It has really blown us away. The units, in terms of clarity, best thing that Pulsar's come out with yet. I've always been a huge Trail fan and ended up selling the Trail to get into the Thermion here just because the image is so much better. It's truly, Pulsar just continues to advance their technology over and over again. Some things that we noticed out on the hunts that we really like about it, it really stands up to the humidity well. We were hunting fairly humid nights this last weekend, really hot temperatures. We started sighting it at 105 outside, which is really hot here in Texas. I could still see where my bullets were hitting the target at 50 yards. Really still seeing that heat difference, which has been big on these new units. They really were able to tweak that technology to get you better heat differences between objects. Another thing that we noticed is really didn't have to tweak the settings much through the night. You really kind of set it and go. We found that on the other units I was constantly having to adjust contrast, things like that where I go. This one seemed pretty steady all across. It's kind of a basic thing, but really the difference between these two units is the LRF, right? Everything else is the same. The LRF we found has really come in handy. I never was a big, I have to have a rangefinder person for us pig hunting here in Texas. We know our properties pretty well that we can kind of gauge, but really found that having that rangefinder is really kind of key. Knowing if you're within 100 yards or 50 yards when we're really kind of walking up and stocking up on pigs. So I'm a huge fan of the LRF version. It is cool to see it in this Thermion version now. So I really like that. Like I mentioned before, these are the Pro versions. So a big thing that sets them apart from Thermion 2 is that these have much better battery life. So one complaint always on the Thermions has been that the battery life just isn't there, and that's why everyone just wasn't a huge fan. This battery life lasted us all night. It drained very little of the battery, both the battery that kind of goes in the top of the unit, that goes in here, as well as the internal battery that it has already. And so, I mean, you're easily going to get a night of hunting out of this. You're going to have no issues. It's very similar to the Trails, and if anything, I would say they've probably gotten better than the Trails, especially when the new technology kind of went into the units. We noticed that the Trails did lose battery life quite a bit. Granted, we haven't gotten to test them in cold nights like a lot of the hunters up in the Midwest do. I know that does pose a little bit of a challenge, but the battery life on these has improved tremendously, which is really nice to see. In addition to that, really all the same features that you get with Pulsar, the picture-in-picture, different reticles. One thing that I did like is that they simplified the menu. You don't have like different menus to go to reticles and zeroing and everything. It's all kind of packed in one menu. A little bit more simplified, concise, and I really like that. Some other differences between the two units themselves, if you're trying to decide LRF versus not. One thing that I did think was really useful on the new units is the focus knob. So one thing that I really disliked on the Thermions is the focus here is completely around the edge of the unit, and it's hard. And when you're out in the field, trying to get it twisted just where you want it with one hand is really tricky. Whereas Pulsar has kind of added this new feature in with the LRF versions where it's a knob and you can easily twist it with either your right hand or your left hand, depending on if you're righty or lefty. Really like that. It's really designed for ambidextrous kind of hunting styles. In addition to that, the power button's in the front, so you do have the LRF button in the back. It's taken some getting used to because I'm used to the old Thermion versions, but it is something that's a little bit different on the units. Overall, really impressed by this. Like I said, it's blown me away where the technology has come. I'm looking forward to maybe getting a Helion that has the same sensors and stuff in it as well and demoing it pretty soon. Getting a review out there on that from y'all. One negative that I really have on the Thermion units that you don't really have with a lot of the other thermals out there, as well as with even a lot of the other the Pulsar units, is the Thermions don't come with a mount. And while with my trail I just put a 0 delta for quick detach, this one shows up, it's not ready to go out the door. So that's something you got to think about when you buy this unit. You will have to put a mount on it. This one we have some cheap side mark rings on it. They held up extremely well. They still have knobs here. I normally just kind of slap it on, tighten it, and I'm ready to go. I don't really try to get it exact, but on this one I decided to go with the American Defense QD mount, and so it is much closer return to zero. I can feel a lot more confident in it than this one, so I did notice that. The other things I did notice, and maybe I just haven't played around with some of the other units enough to notice, but zooming in and zeroing this unit has gotten a lot more precise. And so when you're sighting in, you zoom in all the way and you can adjust to a lot finer increments, which is going to really help those long-range shooters shooting coyotes at 300, 400, 500 yards, really dialing in it exactly like you need. And so I think that's going to be critical. This unit really just encompasses everything from the guys out there hog hunting to the guys up shooting coyotes all the time, and it really encompasses everything with that LRF and everything included. Last thing, like I said, I'm a huge proponent for the trails. I really like them with a QD mount. You can use them as a scanner, you can use them as a scope, and they're very dual purpose units. That is something that I'm still going to have to get used to. Now I've got my scanner with me all the time, so it was just kind of justified already. I've got a Helion unit. It is going to take some getting used to, not just popping the scope on and off as we hunt. I mean, I can still do that with my QD mount, but that is probably another con on the Thermion units that I'm just not super excited about. I wish it was a little smaller package, so really looking forward to Pulsar innovating and kind of making a smaller package. I know that they're working on, they just launched their Talion unit, so really wanting to look at that and see it's a little smaller package. So really wanting that handheld and scope, all in one. So we'll kind of see what those units look like, but you'll see some of the footage on this Thermion unit, and really let us know what you think. But very impressive, by far one of the best thermals I've looked at. We've had guys using pretty much all of the different units out there, whether it be Envision, AGM, any of those, and I would say that this has been by far my favorite image. The clarity, the simplicity, and the durability of these units has been awesome. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this review. Please like and subscribe, and look forward to more reviews coming y'all's way. Thank you.